Good morning, folks. Painless, obviously. You see the title of the video, and I wanted to chime in and talk about this. Let me just say, this. If someone were to ask me about this, hey, Painless man, what you think about this Nina Simone um, film that's coming out? I believe it's scheduled to drop mid-April, April 22nd, somewhere around there, mid to late April, around about. Hey man, what's your opinion about this? And when I did the research, a little bit of research, just so I can kind of brush up and kind of, you know what I'm talking about while doing this video, I the first thing I did was see who the director was, and the director is critical. Um, and I found out the director is a white female named Cynthia Mort. She's written for Will and Grace. She's done some work on HBO um, miniseries or things of that nature. And for me, I took mental note of that as I began to further dig into this. I put a mental note. I said, white female director, Cynthia Mort. I stored that in my mind. I stored that, and I kept digging deeper. And I looked at some of the actors, and one of the actors I found, I believe it was someone very close into the film in Nina Simone, and the brother David Oyelowo. I believe I'm saying that. I believe that's Nigerian or something. The guy that played Martin Luther King in Selma. Um, One of the brothers that played one of the pilots in Red Tails. I looked at him, and then I know his filmography, um, but I looked at his background, and he is married to a white woman. Um, so I stored that, and I began to look. The family is not. The family doesn't seem very pleased with Zoe Saldana, who doesn't identify as a black American, with her portrayal. Now, it should be noted that Zoe Saldana um, had to go into blackface, had to wear a prosthetic nose, even false teeth, to play this role. Originally, Mary J. Blige was supposed to play this role. I think some things weren't ironed out concerning finances, and she stepped down or didn't want to be considered for that role anymore. Um, and also, I looked at who's funding this. Um, the founder of BET, I forget his name, Robert Johnson, and we know anything about BET. BET is not even black anymore. It's been sold out in terms of, the images of blacks. So I'm not going to get into that. You know the history of BET. And then I put all this together. White director, and of course there are some other actors in there as well. I believe Mike Epps, some notable actors and things of that. So I put all these things together. I said, white female director. Now keep in mind, this is Painless giving his observation. And these are some things that I've noted and have written down mentally. So I said, white female director, black male, I guess you could say, supporting actor in that of David Oyelowo, um, who is playing, who usually plays like he's attractive or attracted, to black women, but in real life He's married to a white woman and even has biracial children. And I said, sold out TV conglomerate, Colossus in that of BET, which isn't even black anymore. And I put all those things together. And I said to myself, a lot of black folks running around today, they don't even know who Nina Simone was. They don't. They don't know that she was someone who was an activist, someone, a very talented singer, who in a time was trying to find herself, fit herself in being not a black woman, but a dark-skinned black woman who wore her hair natural. And I said to myself, why did this director push so hard? For me, Mary J. Blige wouldn't even be. I'm going to tell you somebody who would have been perfect for this role. And it's not the female from 12 Years as a Slave, Lupita, the African dark-skinned sister. India.Arie would have been perfect for this role. India.Arie, to me, she's very talented. She vocally, her musical acumen is superb. She's dark-skinned. She's a very nice-looking dark-skinned female. And her vibe, to me, fits that of Nina Simone. I think she would have been very, her energy level into that film. Now, I don't know if India.Arie can act, but I know vocally, musically, she's very talented. And I think she would have been my choice. If all the stars aligned and everything, she would have been who I would, if I were director, who I would have sought out without any question to play that role. She wears her hair. She fits that vibe. Zoe Saldana doesn't identify as black. She doesn't fit that vibe. And it makes you wonder why she even took the role. But let me get to the real meat of this. I blame black people, black women, for this. I'm going to tell you why. You allow, now this is my observation, you allowed people outside of your so-called community continuously tell the stories of your icons that many of y'all didn't even know about, Nina Simone, and what she did, and I'm just saying the things that she stood for in whatever it is. Nevertheless, you're not telling the story because when you look at black culture in America, it's regressed. No longer do black folk in America idolize people who stood up for black folks in a time where it was warranted. Now, we can sit here and say, would Nina Simone support Black Lives Matter and all that stuff? I don't know. But one thing I do know, in a time where there wasn't really respect for blacks as far as rights and things like that, she was fighting to change that in a time where it was warranted. I've never sat here and said, I'm anti-activist, I'm anti-rights, I'm anti-mar. All those black folks that did that stuff, all those black folks that formed groups, that form societies, and stuff that we don't even hear about. There's so much rich black history. This is why I say, all you Negroes talking about, well, if Trump get into power, I'm moving. And I'm like, why? Black folks have been in America before there was a Declaration of Independence. Black folks have been in America before there was a United States Constitution and Bill of Rights. We have every right to stay here and fight like anybody else, like any white guy who's been here since he got off the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. We got every right to fight and be involved. Okay, so all those people, all those black folks that form these societies to do for self, which I've always supported. I've always supported the Booker T. Washington model over the Du Bois model, his talented 10th. I've always supported doing for self, learning the everyday mechanics to do for self. I never really, the W.E. Du Bois model, it's human psychology, it doesn't work because human psychology tells you that, well, I got mine, y'all got to get yours. That's how humans work. It's a selective few that will come back and teach the masses. And I'm going to tell you that doesn't work because most black folk, they get them a little education, they get them some status. They're moving to McDonough. They're moving to Lawrenceville. They're moving to Alpharetta. They're moving out of Atlanta or Birmingham. They're moving to Vestavia Hills, Irondale, Trustville. They're not living around you Negroes. So that's why I know that talented 10th model. The only people who trying to uplift black people and end up getting screwed over are the black folks that still stay in the hoods and the ghettos. And they're trying. Black folks who got little degrees and got their little beamers and being in little Prince Hall Mason chapters and their little Greek fraternities, and they're working downtown making about $112,000 a year. The only time they go back to the hood is to visit friends and to go eat at their favorite soul food shop. Then they take their ass back out to Douglasville. They don't care. They don't care. So this is why the W.E. Du Bois model of the talented 10th, it still doesn't make sense. It still hasn't worked. But we don't know about because most black folks took that role, I'm going to get my education and I'm up out of here. But we haven't really seen a true working project of the Booker T. Washington model because we look at schools now, they're taking VOTEC out of schools, they're taking woodwork, they're taking carpentry, plumbing, automotives. I got an uncle who's an automotive teacher. He's saying they cutting his budget year by year. He said he just sit by and he said, I'm just trying to retire with a little something. Every year, his classes is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But those are the things that will make you do for self. Plumbing, learning electrical work, building houses, carpentry. And you can make good money in them trades. And you don't need a white man standing over you to do that. And there are a lot of black businesses that are doing it, but it's not really promoted. But yet you have these liberal, progressives going out here getting these BS degrees and then wondering why their asses can't get a job. And these are the same ones, like I said, that open the paper up and say, oh, I can be part of this police department, make $60,000 a year, get tuition reimbursement, get health, dental, and vision? Knowing damn well they don't have the attributes to be a cop, but since this is an attractive salary that has all these benefits, shit, I'll go be a cop. And then they get into it with somebody because they lack the social aptitude skills just to talk with people, they end up shooting somebody because they're so scared and threatened. The days of the person who you find, it's rare you find people who want to be cops. Now let me get back on Zoe Saldana because I went off on a huge, about a 7-minute tangent. But it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Those groups that black people built and organized were warranted back then. All this stuff now is not warranted. This is why black folks don't really look or know about Nina Simone's or Booker T. Washington's or the Marcus Garveys. And I like those figures because they all promoted doing for self. They didn't freaking run and beg to the white man, I need this, and then get pissed off when the white man says, fuck you, nigger, I'm not giving you shit. And then you want to tear up shit and tear up your own communities and you want to hurt other black people. Booker T. Washington built schools. Marcus Garvey built schools. And there's a host of other black icons, black historical figures that white people take the time to learn about and put films out. And the only time you find out about this is when you got somebody who doesn't identify as being black playing the damn role. Now you want to be mad. But you're looking at Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives of LA, while these white people are out making stories about your historical figures. That's why I don't blame Cynthia Mort, the director. Because you Negroes, as always, are asleep at the wheel. If you were more involved and you took ownership of your historical figures, this shit would have never happened. There is no way, if you took real ownership and said these are ours and embraced them and understood what they stood for, there's no way this white female director would have cast this female in this particular film. No way. And that's what's going on. And I see it all the time, even dealing with other cultures. What happens, a lot of white people, this is what white people do. And again, this is my observation. I watch a lot of Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, History Channel. This is what white people do. And I say white people generally speaking, not every white person. This not every black male is a thug. I gotta qualify you viewers. Oh, he's saying all white people. Oh, I'm not watching you anymore, Painless. I can give a damn. But anyway, this is what white people do. White people will go to Bolivia and mess around with a tribe that gets limited contact with other human beings and learn their ways, learn how to shoot poisonous darts at a monkey and kill a monkey and go home and burn off the hairs. Or they'll go somewhere and they'll go to Africa and learn how to put, holes in their ears and gauges. That's what all these kids you see with those holes in their ears and gauges, that's some shit somebody went and said, oh, that's cool. And, a lot of that stuff comes from Africa and other tribes and stuff. But this is what white people do. And they come back and they act like they did it. Like they've come up with the science, like they've manufactured it. This is why you see white people doing all this acai, it has antioxidants and all this shit. We got it from the tribe or the jungles of Ecuador and they and they come back to the westernized world like they did some shit. When in actuality, these people in Ecuador or Papua New Guinea or some tribe in Mozambique in Africa, on the continent, have been doing this shit for hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, talk about being late to the party. But this is what white people do. And I say that to compare this white female, and it's perfectly her prerogative, but this is what happens when white people get involved in things. Or anybody gets involved that is not of the host. You start casting people who, that host, i.e., example, black folks, because Nina Simone was black, a black actor would not have done this. A black actor would not have done this. But you have a black director. Correct myself. A black director would not have cast Zoe Saldana as Nina Simone. But unfortunately, a lot of our black directors are making movies about drag queen, loudmouth, gun-toting grandmamas or degrading black men, or making movies about cities that have a high level of black-on-black homicides. You think Spike Lee is going to do a video about Nina Simone? Because he's not tailoring to that audience. White people will go out and do these types of movies. And now you're pissed. Oh, who's Nina Simone? Oh, okay, that's her. Black feel okay. Well, who they got playing her? Zoe Saldana, she ain't even black. See, now your first encounter with Nina Simone has already been negative. You didn't give a shit about her in the first place because you didn't know who she was. But then you find out that a non-black female, someone who doesn't identify as black, playing a black female. Just like the brother who is David Oyelowo, who's in real life married to a white woman, pretending like he likes black women. I mean, even the brother from 12 Years a Slave, Chiwetel Ejiofor, his wife or his girlfriend is a white female. White is all get out. And this is why I kind of lean on black women. Look, these guys who are playing Dr. King, who are playing all these black, historical figures, they're not into you, black women. They may act, I use that figurative, literally. They act like they like you, but they don't. Most of these brothers are from Europe. They don't even identify with black American culture. Idris Elba, I don't even think he really identified. He played Stringer Bell in The Wire, but I don't know if that brother really identifies as what you all think he should be. He's not looking for you. These African kangs ain't looking for you. They're not checking for you. And yet you have a white female. This is why I say a lot of black women, you are losing in every turn, every facet. Everywhere. Loser. You're not winning anymore. You got white women dictating who plays who. You're getting mad. You have no control over it. Then you get mad. They're taking your men. You've lost the art of nurturing. Your kids are out of control. I was watching Blind Side the other day with Sandra Bullock in the Michael Orr story. And it was sad, that movie. And now I was looking at every encounter in that movie, that portrayal of Michael Orr. Every encounter that dude had with a black person was negative. Every encounter. If you get a chance to go watch that movie, go watch it again. Or if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Every encounter that boy had in that movie with another black person was negative. Every encounter. Every encounter that boy had with white people, for the most part, was positive. And I said, would a black couple have done that for Michael Orr? I would say no. See, black people don't take ownership. You take ownership of the wrong shit. You claim the wrong people. You claim Michael Browns and Freddie Grays. You claim them. You march. You make murals and community centers out of these shines. Black folks are always taking up for people they ain't got no goddamn business taking up for. And like I said, these white women, and I say, when people talk about interracial relationship, we look at black and white, as far as race or ethnic group. But there's other women out here taking black men. And I've said this before, because many brothers now are saying, you know what? This shit ain't even about weave no more. This not about you wearing purple eye contacts or you wearing the hair of other women, which I'm going to get to a story here shortly. It's not about that no more. I just don't want my kids to be raised having a funky, screwed up attitude because of your inability to nurture and really take care of kids. And I said a lot of black women raise shitty, disrespectful kids nowadays. Notice I said nowadays. So you can't sit here and say, well, Painless dislikes black women. No. Black women of old had standards, enforced standards. Majority of you black women now, if you're like 35 and younger, a lot of you black women that are raising kids now don't know what the hell you're doing. You're raising hellions. These kids are disrespectful, lazy, out of shape. Very emotional, quick-tempered, uncooperative, selfish, vain individuals. That's a lot of you black women are raising these types of kids. That's just the reality. I.e., look at Baltimore. Look at Ferguson. I can open up or click on any said online newspaper online, and find 3 shines, 16, 17-year-old Kadavion, Kawandre, and Quintavious, then shot somebody on any given day. And this is this is on the watch of you black women. So you're raising shitty kids. So a lot of black men are saying, subconsciously, and they're saying, I don't want this. And you know how it's a problem? If it was just Painless saying this, you can easily dismiss me and say, oh, he's just a lone guy, he's mad. But I'm hearing brothers, I've been hearing and seeing this for years, voicing the same concerns. And I'm not special. I'm hearing brothers voice the same things that I've said years ago, still. So, it's you. You could discount me if I was the only guy saying it, but I got 40 other brothers over here saying the same shit that I'm saying. Same things. So it's you, black female. It's you. So brothers are saying, I want a woman that knows how to raise kids. I'll go get me a Filipino woman who's attractive or whoever. I'll go get me a white woman, or I'll go get me a Vietnamese woman who knows how to treat a man, who knows proper protocol in raising children, and the importance of the mother and father dynamic. A lot of you black women don't know that, because many of you all have taken W.E. Du Bois' approach. You've chosen to go out and get degrees. You've chosen to go out and put your career over family. A lot of you, these are the same women that don't, oh, I know this is going to be a long video. A lot of you black women, like I said, have chosen to get degrees and choose career over family, which is the biggest, which is the nucleus of the community. And like I said, when you have strong communities, usually strong communities have strong families. And when you have women who choose career, or, I've traveled for my job, and I run into black women that say, oh, I ain't having no kids. It's too painful. Yeah, I even have females in my family that didn't have one child with a no good shine. Now her experience is ruined. And she, these women got C-section scars on their stomach. Look like they been in a fucking drive-by. Ooh, girl, I ain't having no more kids. Ooh, shit, girl. Girl, you crazy. I ain't having no more kids. Ooh, girl, you gonna have some more kids? Shit, girl, I ain't having no more kids. While these white women, while these Asian and Hispanic women are having kids. And the kids, if you do end up getting pregnant, you're running down to Planned Parenthood or some shade tree goddamn doctor, risking life and limb to abort it. That's what's going on. And black men are saying, I ain't dealing with that shit. I'm not dealing with that shit. I'm not. I ain't dealing with that shit. I'll go get me a Laotian woman. I'll go get me an Indian woman, East Indian, or whatever have you. Because at least I know my kids will be raised with some decency and respect. You professional, and that's what I say about you professional women. You women that are directors and mid-level management with your $85, $90, or $110,000 salary, them sheets get pretty goddamn cold at night, I bet. With your, he got to be 6'3", he got to be at least 9 inches, he got to have his own house, own car, he got to be making 6 figures. Okay, you keep wanting that. That bed gonna be just like this, cause you ain't nobody sleeping over here. And your ass keep indenting that mug because you sleeping alone in that same spot because ain't nobody sleeping on the other side of your bed. And it gets pretty cold at night. Pretty cold. So, you can sit over there and shiver and want all these high demands while these women, while these Vietnamese, Filipino, Islander women and white women will take the brother who's a carpenter, will take the brother who maybe ran across one of you and is getting dinged for child support because that's your come up. She'll deal with him and she'll make him better. See, a lot of black women, they don't want to put in the work to build a man. They just, they want this already, they want this accessorized nigga with all the accessories, the job, the Beamer, 9 inches, 6'3", 6-pack, instead of developing. While this Korean female, maybe it's not banged with a fat ass and all this shit, she'll take him. Introduce him to a new way, enlighten him, build him, support him. And they'll go on to have Tiger Woods and stuff like that, Blake Griffins. And they'll live happily ever after, while your ass is shivering from fucking October to April. Because you passed him up. That's the reality of the situation. And yes, this all ties to this Nina Simone and Zoe Saldana. While y'all sitting here wondering, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? He went from Zoe Saldana and Nina Simone to black women. Oh, it all comes together. And keep in mind, I said, this is just painless as observations. I'm not necessarily taking a position on it. I'm just merely stating my observations. So these types of women, these Filipino, Polynesian, white women, some Hispanic women, they'll pop out 5, 6 kids for her black man that you don't even want to have one. She'll pop him out as many kids as he wants and teach and nurture those kids and love those kids. While your ass just want to wear tight-ass miniskirts and be seen and get tattoos and get hair weave and prance around like you know shit when you don't. Now let me get to this hair weave situation in Memphis. In which a female murdered a husband and wife over hair weave, I believe it was. And now there's stories or rumors that the hair that comes from India is demonic and causing these black women to act in a way. Let me just say this. I've read that most of the hair that's cut off the women in these countries, that women will sit in a salon chair, on a Saturday like today, for 6 hours and put in their head, is cut off women who are prostitutes, who are women who are just found in the gutter somewhere, mental ill patients over there. They're not cutting the royalty hair off women in Mumbai. You're getting hair off prostitutes and the lower caste of that society. You're paying $250 to put on your head. I want you to think about that, black women that wear weave, that spend guys' hard-earned money to go sit in a fucking salon chair for 4 to 6 hours. Kids at home. And you're doing this shit like every 6 to 8 weeks. Think about that. You're wearing the hair of mentally ill women in a poor country. Women that society doesn't necessarily care about. You're wearing the hair of prostitutes from whatever said third world country. And you're paying top dollar to a Korean. This shit is crazy. Let me paint the picture. You're wearing, black women who wear weave, You're wearing the hair of mental ill patients in Mumbai or wherever country where women have long flowing hair. You're wearing the hair of prostitutes. Those people make money from the Koreans. The Koreans purchase that hair. Those Koreans sell the hair to you for $250, $300 a pop. While you're working at a job, making $50,000 a year, you're spending that money, $250, $300 a pop, for the good weave. Now, this is good weave, according to the Korean. He's telling you this top dollar. This top dollar, top dollar. Now, you're taking that hair that you could have fed your family with, or that you could have done something constructive with, and you sit your ass down, you take it to a black female, or you take it to a Dominican beauty salon, and you pay another $100 for them to put that hair on your head. Tell me, what do you get out of the situation? Besides going to work or going to the club with someone else's hair on your head. What? And that's only for a couple weeks till you change the shit out and do it again. How are you winning in that situation? The Korean man won. The Dominican beauty salon, and occasionally the black female beauty salon owner wins. Those Indians or those Vietnamese who are cutting off the hair of mentally ill, psychopathic, mentally unstable women in their said country, those guys are winning. But how are you? I want you to think about that. You didn't understand what I was saying? Roll it back and hear it again. And now you're killing for it. Just like Brothers and Jordans. Jordan has made it clear that he doesn't give a shit about black people. He doesn't give a shit about people who are willing to stand in line for 2 hours to buy some ugly ass Jordans that you'll spend $300 on. I was on Facebook, and this brother said, he put up, some towns have these buy, sell, trade Facebook pages. This brother said, I gotta be, I'll pay this was his post. I'll pay somebody to go and buy me the new Jordans at 9. You have to be there at 9 o'clock. I will pay you $50. I want you to think about it. This brother was going to pay somebody $50 to go stand in line. He was going to entrust giving somebody $250, or however much the shoes was, plus $50 on top to stand in line to buy him some shoes. And he said, I'll pick them up from you later. Ain't no way I would give somebody I don't know that amount of money, then pay them a $50 standing in line fee to buy me no goddamn shoes. And see, this is the insanity of black men and women, black people in general. And while you're doing that, white directors are telling the stories that you should be telling, that you should know, and casting people under your nose. And when you find out, it's too late. So this is why I say black folks are losing, black women are losing, black men are losing. But in this particular circumstance, black women have lost. You're killing for hair that's not yours. You're saying it has to do with voodoo and all this shit. You go and pray to a white created God figure in that of Jesus. You look to strengthen that. You think you can do and eat all this shit and then go pray before Jesus for health or strength. This is why you're losing, black people. You're too superstitious. You fall asleep at the wheel. You don't use any common sense, logical, or critical analysis in anything that you do in life. And you expect others to do everything for you. You don't do for self. You get mad at Whitey when he doesn't do for you. When you haven't even taken initiative and accountability for your own. But that's enough talking. Damn, I talked for 46 minutes. I'm about to wrap it up. Get out here. Have a good weekend. Peace.